If you truly believed Chrisean Rock and Jaidyn Alexis were about to link arms, hug it out, and move on like some grown women just because they said they'd made peace, then let me tell you something, you've clearly not been paying attention. These two women have a history of animosity so deep, it makes high school drama look like child's play. From Twitter shade to Instagram rants and full-blown reality TV brawls, this beef has been simmering, and sometimes boiling for years. And now it seems like we've reached the next explosive chapter in this never-ending saga. With Blueface locked up, you'd think things would settle down. But nope, if anything, the drama's just gotten messier. This time, it was Chrisean who lit the match. She hopped online and aired out Jaidyn's financial situation, claiming she was struggling to care for the two kids she shares with Blueface. And as expected, Jaidyn didn't sit back and take it. Within minutes, she was online, dragging Chrisean in every direction imaginable, throwing out insults like confetti at a parade. This wasn't just a clapback, it was a full-on digital brawl. And if we're being honest, anyone who's been keeping tabs on this toxic triangle saw it coming from a mile away. These women have never truly buried the hatchet. If anything, they've been sharpening it behind the scenes, waiting for the next excuse to use it. The roots of this feud go deep. It's not just about words exchanged online. This is personal. This is years of resentment, jealousy, and constant comparison, all wrapped around one man, Blueface. Both women have spent years fighting for the title of main chick in a situation where Blueface himself barely acknowledges either of them consistently. That's the wildest part. This man has built his brand on chaos, disloyalty, and clout, and yet both women continue to orbit around him, hoping to be the last one standing in a love triangle that should have ended long ago. Jaidyn believes she's earned her place. She's been there since high school, back when Blueface was just Jonathan, not a rapper, not a reality star. She was there through the ups and downs, before the money and the fame. But with success came temptations, and before long, the cheating started. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was public. And then came the infamous reality show, where Blueface basically turned his love life into a competition. And who came out on top? None other than Chrisean Rock. Once Chrisean entered the scene, things went from messy to downright disastrous. Her presence alone sparked something in Jaidyn: jealousy, frustration, maybe even fear. Fear that all those years of loyalty and sacrifice were about to be overshadowed by someone new. Someone loud, someone unpredictable. Someone who wasn't afraid to throw hands or speak her mind. Even when Jaidyn tried to act like it didn't bother her, it was clear that every time Chrisean got attention, especially from Blueface, it ate away at her. But things reached a new level of tension when Chrisean revealed she was pregnant. For a while, Jaidyn held onto the title of being Blueface's only baby mama, and there was a certain power in that. A twisted pride. But once baby Junior came into the world, that changed. Suddenly, she had to share that role. And to make matters worse, Blueface wasn't exactly thrilled about the idea of Chrisean keeping the baby. Jaidyn wasted no time inserting herself into the situation, claiming that she would have made the smart choice if it meant securing a check. That comment alone sparked major backlash, with many accusing her of being heartless. But she stood 10 toes down, using the moment to paint herself as the responsible one. The mature mother, the better choice. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get more tangled, Blueface pulled a move no one saw coming. He married Chrisean. And yes, he did it while behind bars. Locked up, yet still causing chaos. Jaidyn wasn't just excluded from the ceremony, she didn't even get a heads up. Imagine that. You've stood by someone for years, raised their kids, and then find out from the internet that they married someone else while in prison. That would mess with anybody's head. So of course, Jaidyn exploded. She went on a social media tirade, airing out every grievance she'd been holding in. She accused Blueface of being a deadbeat, dragged Chrisean for stealing the spotlight, and pretty much set fire to any hope of peace between them. It was giving love and hip-hop reunion, but without the cameras and editors. But then came the twist that had everyone talking. Instead of clapping back with her usual fire and fury, Chrisean responded with something unexpected: maturity. Her message was long, calm, and introspective, basically the opposite of what we've come to expect from her. She talked about betting on love, owning her mistakes, and recognizing how childish their beef had become. She even admitted that back in her early 20s, she thought the drama was funny, but now it's just exhausting. She said the diss tracks were lame, the fights were draining, and that she no longer wanted to compete for a man who couldn't give her what she needed. She even extended a small olive branch to Jaidyn, saying she understood why she was hurt but didn't get why their kids hadn't even met yet. In that moment, it felt like Chrisean was finally seeing the bigger picture. Like maybe she was done playing the same toxic games over and over again. But if you thought Jaidyn was going to let that slide, think again. She immediately called the message fake, claiming it was all for attention. She said Chrisean was playing victim and trying to hijack narratives that didn't involve her. And that's when Chrisean's new calm persona cracked just a little. She clapped back, pointing out that Jaden clearly did read the message since she responded so quickly. Then she started airing out behind-the-scenes details, like how Zeus allegedly only paid Jaden $20,000 for the reunion special, and implied she was drowning in bills and letting jealousy distract her from her own bag. However, it all started with one explosive IG live that sent shockwaves across social media. Chrisean Rock got on live and, without holding back, launched into a full-blown rant. She didn't mention Jaden by name at first, but it didn't take long for fans to figure out exactly who she was talking about. And once she dropped the line, "You mad at me, but your pocket's mad at you," the internet light up. Chrisean claimed that Jaden was only acting tough online because she's struggling behind the scenes. According to Chrisean, Jaden has been pressing Blueface for child support, not because he's absent, but because she's broke and bitter. Chrisean even went as far as to say that Jaden is jealous that Blueface has stepped up more for her child, the one she shares with him, than he has for Jaden's kids. She said, and I quote, "You want child support because you can't afford the lifestyle you're pretending to have. Meanwhile, I ain't even asked for nothing, and Blue's still here. That's the difference between me and you." Woo! That was a direct hit, and the way she delivered it, calm, cold, and calculated, not screaming, not crying, just straight facts, at least in her mind. Whether or not it's true, she knew exactly what to say to hit a nerve. Now, y'all already know, Jaidyn wasn't about to sit back and take that without saying something. While she didn't jump on live herself, she let her socials do the talking. On Twitter, Jaidyn posted a not-so-subtle message that read, "Bro, I own what you rent. Watch your mouth before I really air it out." Then she followed that with a post of her music video snippet and the caption, "I stay booked, y'all stay pressed." Now, some fans took that as her brushing things off, like she's not fazed, she's unbothered. But others saw it as exactly what it was, a response rooted in pride and defense. Because let's be real, if she didn't care, she wouldn't have said anything. And honestly, this whole feud is starting to look more like a war for Blueface's attention. A messy, public battle where the kids are watching, and the fans are eating it up. Here's where it gets real messy. Chrisean's most damaging accusation wasn't just about money, it was about motive. She implied that Jaden doesn't actually need child support to take care of her kids. Instead, she's allegedly using it as a way to stay connected to Blueface, to control him, or at the very least, to make sure he doesn't give more to Chrisean than he does to her. From what we know, Blueface has had a rocky financial history between lawsuits, label issues, and constantly spending on entourages, jewelry, and parties. The man's money management is questionable at best. So if Jaden is going to court for child support, it may be because she's trying to secure long-term stability for her kids, which isn't a bad thing. But according to Chrisean, it's not about the kids, it's about competition. She claims Jaden is pressed because Blueface continues to pop in and out of her life, while Jaden is being treated like an afterthought. And y'all, this is where fans started choosing sides. Some are defending Jaidyn, saying she has every right to ask for support, especially since she's raising two of Blueface's children. Others are Team Chrisean, saying at least she isn't dragging Blueface to court and only calls him out when he deserves it. Either way, the internet is split and neither woman is backing down. Once this drama hit the blogs, it was over. Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram were flooded with reactions, memes, hot takes, and think pieces. One fan tweeted, "Chrisean might be toxic, but she doesn't lie when she's pissed. She always drops the real tea." Another said, "Jaidyn playing victim when she was the villain for years. Karma's a beast." Meanwhile, TikTok creators started stitching the IG live and analyzing every single word Chrisean said like it was a crime scene. People were pointing out facial expressions, tone shifts, and calling this one of her most composed rants to date. And you know it's serious when Chrisean isn't yelling. She's calm, calculated, and deadly with her words. Still, not everyone's taking her side. Some people are pointing out that Chrisean has her own track record of chaos and questioning whether she should really be throwing stones while living in a glass house. After all, she and Blueface have had their share of toxic moments, and the baby situation on her side isn't exactly a fairy tale either. The double standards are glaring and the hypocrisy even louder. Beyond the back and forth shade, the child support drama, and the internet messiness, there's a deeper issue here. What we're seeing isn't just two women beefing. It's two mothers navigating life with a man who clearly thrives off chaos, attention, and manipulation. Blueface has set up a system where both women are left fighting for scraps of loyalty, affection, and financial support. Instead of working together or finding peace, they've been positioned as enemies. And unfortunately, this is exactly what happens when men pit women against each other and then sit back and watch the show. At the end of the day, both Chrisean and Jaidyn are raising children who will grow up and see these lives, these tweets, these court battles. And that's heartbreaking, because while the internet lives for the drama, the real victims are the kids caught in the crossfire. So where do we go from here? Well, as of now, neither woman has issued any public apologies or attempted to resolve the situation. Chrisean seems content letting the world know how she feels, and Jaden is clearly gearing up for her own comeback, whether that's through music, court wins, or just more cryptic posts. But one thing is for sure, this feud is far from over. And unless someone decides to be the bigger person, it's only going to get messier. So what do y'all think? Is Chrisean just calling it like she sees it, or is she deflecting from her own drama? Is Jaden really broke and bitter, or just fighting for what's owed to her and her kids? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but keep it respectful. We're spilling tea, not spreading hate. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more no-filter celebrity drama, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single update. Until next time, stay safe, stay messy, and I'll catch you all in the next one. She even suggested that Blueface's decision to cut Jaidyn off wasn't about her. It was about setting boundaries. That's when the conversation stopped being about feelings and started sounding more like a PR war. Two women trying to win over fans, prove their worth, and rewrite the past. And honestly, it was exhausting to watch. Now, fans are split. Some believe this new mature version of Chrisean is real, that she's finally growing up, learning from her mistakes, and trying to move forward. Others think it's all an act, an attempt to save face now that she's legally tied to a man who's embarrassed her more times than we can count. Then there's the group that still feels for Jaidyn. They say she's not mad about losing Blueface, she's mad about the disrespect. That after all she's been through, the public humiliation is just too much to swallow. But here's the bigger question, why are either of them still fighting over a man who constantly played them against each other? Why are they still letting Blueface pull the strings from behind bars? At the end of the day, this whole saga is less about Chrisean versus Jaidyn and more about what happens when women are pitted against each other over a man who doesn't respect either of them. It's a toxic cycle, a game that keeps repeating because neither side wants to lose. But the truth is, there are no winners in this situation. Not when the kids are stuck in the middle. Not when the public's watching like it's a boxing match. And not when both women are clearly still hurting, still fighting battles that should have been laid to rest years ago. So what now? Does this wedding mean Chrisean has officially won? Or will Jaidyn continue to fight for what she believes she deserves? Will either of them ever truly walk away from Blueface for good, or are we doomed to watch this love triangle play out for another 5 years? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Is Chrisean finally growing up? Or is this just a temporary pause before the next blow-up? Is Jaidyn justified in her anger, or is she stuck in the past? Can these two ever co-parent without chaos, or are we just watching the same toxic loop on repeat?